Management Accounting 14, two-stage activity-based costing systems. This is Ken Boyd, the owner of St. Louis Test Preparation. Here's our Facebook page, St. Louis Test Prep. And the resource where we looked to get information for this video, Introduction to Management Accounting, the Horngren, Sumner and Stratton textbook, 12th edition, and the chapter that we used was chapter 4. So we've talked about activity-based costing on other videos. This is a different type of activity-based costing that I guess we could describe as more specific. Two-stage activity-based costing, a two-stage activity-based costing system. And we call it two-stage because we do it in two steps. Stage 1, we allocate cost to activity cost pools, which we'll define in a minute. And then second, we take those costs and finally get them to the products or services at the end. So it's a two-stage process. So what's a cost pool? Because I mentioned cost pool right here. Cost allocated to a cost objective, that's the product or service, using a single cost driver. So now we have to define what a cost driver is. Any output measure, could be labor hours, machine hours, that causes cost to happen, that is, that uses the resources. So I like to think of it as a sponge that sucks up the resources. What is it that's causing you to incur cost? That's what a cost driver is. So for example, let's think about Levi's Jeans Company, and I want to distinguish between, again, direct and indirect costs, and then go on to the two-stage. So a direct cost might be labor to run a sewing machine, material, which might be denim, to make the blue jeans. Those are traced directly to the product or service. They are direct cost or product costs. Indirect costs or overhead are allocated to the product or service, and we talk about a predetermined overhead rate. There is some rate that we're going to allocate the cost. What we'll see in just a minute is we have different activities that are cost drivers, and those activities, a certain percentage of those activities are how we assign cost to those cost pools. So here's our two-stage example for Levi's jeans. This is very similar to the Levi jeans example that I've used in cost accounting. We have two fixed costs here at the top, and then we have two variable costs. So we pay $10,000 annually for a sewing machine. That's a fixed cost, and we allocate based on machine hours. We have a labor rate. We're paying $50,000 annual cost for labor. That's allocated based on labor hours. So those two are fixed costs. We've got to have energy to run the plant, to heat it, cool it, and run machinery. So it's $5 that we pay per kilowatt hour on our utility bill. That's a variable cost. For example, the more we run a machine, the more energy we're going to incur. And the longer the factory's open, for people, labor folks to go in there and do work, the more energy costs we're going to incur. So then we have activities. What are the things that we do that cause us to incur costs? Well, we have setup. It may be the case that we make different kinds of blue jeans and that we need to change how the machine runs between running the straight leg jeans and the bell-bottom jeans, for example. So we have setup costs. We have processing costs to actually make the blue jeans. And then we have material costs that go straight into our product. And our product is our cost objective. So in my example, it takes 3/10 of a machine hour for setup. It takes 2/10 of a labor hour. So that's from here and here. For processing, we incur 7/10 of a machine hour, half of a labor hour, 0.5. And we use 2 energy kilowatt hours to process. And finally, denim, we use 3 square yards of denim per pair of jeans. That's a variable cost. The more jeans we make, the more we incur. So the next step is to take this pooling information. The setup and the processing are both pooling activities, and these costs in the middle are what we call activity consumption rate. How much of the cost that we have at the top are these activities using? Well, that's what we call the activity consumption rate. And then we take those activities and the direct material and we apply it to a cost objective, which in this example is 100 pairs of jeans, and we consider 1 unit to be a pair of jeans. So I have my resources set up. I have set up activity, this should say processing, and denim. Let me change that if I can. Processing. Setup that's an activity, processing's an activity, and the denim the direct material. And so what's the cost for a single activity? Well, I took the activity consumption rate here, activity consumption rate here for processing, and the denim I need square yards of denim. Okay, we're going to assume that we find out we need 1 setup for 100 pair of jeans, that we need 20 of the processing machine hours for the 100 pairs of jeans, and that this math is easy. We need 130 square yards of material. So what would be the cost attached to 1 setup? Well, it would be 1 times that activity consumption rate. So for setup, I have 3/10 of a machine hour and 2/10 of a labor hour. That's the total cost for 1 setup, and I need 1 setup for 100 pair of jeans. I have 20 machine hours, processing hours. Okay, that would be these 3 activity consumption rates times 20 hours, and I get my result over here. I'd need, for the 100 pairs of jeans, 14 machine hours, 10 labor hours, and 40 kilowatt hours, because I'm taking the cost of a single activity, multiplying it by 20. And then finally, the denim in square yards, I need 130. For the 100 pairs of jeans, I multiply that by 3. 130 times 3, I get $390. So now I have the total cost for the cost objective, which is 100 pairs of jeans. And the last step would be to assign costs for each labor hour and machine hour, so I can convert hours into actual dollars. Bearing in mind that the kilowatt hours, I already know kilowatts $5 an hour. I know that the cost per square yard for the material, but I need to know my machine hour and direct labor hour actual cost to get my total cost in dollars. That's the end of Management Accounting 14A. 2-stage activity-based costing system. Our Not on the Web videos are additional videos and spreadsheets not on YouTube, where we take a lot of our content, regroup it, record it into more of an audio textbook. Our YouTube channel, Ken Boyd STL, you can get a complete, email me for a complete list of videos on YouTube. For live one-on-one tutoring and chat sessions, stltest.net is the website. Here's our email and our phone number. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.